And welcome back to the Zanpakuto creation series. From Zombie Demon, we have the question of what is the Zanpakuto of Dracula, specifically the Dracula from the movie Dracula Untold, the Luke Evans Dracula. Now, this is a lot. Every Dracula is going to have some similarity. I've done Alucard from Helsing before, so every Dracula in theory should have a similarity to it because it is still Dracula. But I think the level of difference obviously shows when you look at the actual character and personality. This is the more honorable warrior Dracula than the monster he becomes. Even though he does end up becoming a monster, there's still that level of humanity that's in there. So, what do we do with this? I liken this kind of to an Ichigo style Zanpakuto a little bit, a Shikai melee style, but with a Keto effect to a certain degree. Not a true Keto blade, but a melee with a Keto effect. Its still standard form would be a sealed katana. Its release would be Paint the Battlefield. Its name is Dragon's Blood, or Dragun, Dragunzo Chi. Sorry, because it's a Japanese name for a word for dragon. Or in some other cases, it'd be Ryochi. Its Bankai name would be Devil's Pet, Dragon's Blood, or Akuma no Ryo no. The spelling was weird here. Ennu. Akuma no Ryo Ninochi. Now, the spirit of this is actually, I think, closer to like a kind of serpentine Quetzalcoatl feathered bird creature, but a kind of just demon dragon variant of that. Now, it's Shikai. I liken the Shikai to look similar to what Prince Nawada's sword looked like in Daredevil. Very simple looking sword, decent long hang until the blade is not super long, around the same length, weirdly enough, as a wakizashi, but it's almost got a bit more heft to it than that, just because of the design. I've always liked the design too of that blade. It's a simplistic design, but it's a very elegant design. Side note, always loved this character. That is, they got Null's design generally right in Venom Last Dance, but Prince Nawada is nearly exactly what Null is supposed to look like. So, either way. So, what this Zanpakuto essentially does is similar to something like with Alucard. It does revolve around the manipulation of blood, but it's more the manipulation of reishi and blood. Reishi heavy liquid, which in the Bleach world would include blood, because you're made of Rei Ryoko, I believe it is. We're made of spiritual energy. Shinigami hollows all that. So whatever blood comes out, it can be manipulated. But the blood, even the reishi itself, or the ryatsu, is still liquefied. So it's turning the reishi into this weird viscous material that can be used for extra combat. It's giving it a bit more substance. Now, the catch here is that you're not able to manipulate your own blood, you're manipulating others' blood. Also, you still need to be able to cut someone in order to activate its effect, which means the inherent weakness of the Zanpakuto is you need to get cut in. This Zanpakuto would suck against an opponent who's got a counter to actually being directly hit, like a Baragon or a Pernida or something like that. But its Bankai is where you can kind of offset that. See, the Bankai definitely leans itself more towards the Impaler aspect of Dracula, of Vlad Tepes, where he activates his Bankai, still keeps his sword in hand, but, dozens upon maybe hundreds of stakes, jettison it from the ground as far as they can to skewer as many opponents as possible, causing their blood, be released, and he can then manipulate it to his whatever degree he needs to manipulate it to. Excuse me. So this allows him a huge amount of potential weaponry to use on his behalf. That's not the term, but at his disposal. A huge amount of ammo in his firearm to use somewhat of an analogy. This means he can manipulate the blood as he would say like a torrent of a torrent of water, a giant massive torrent of water, or something along those lines. Now, similar to something like say Shinji's Hapafusagari, this Zanpakuto is Hapafusagari can't be used around your allies. It just straight can't. But this Zanpakuto, while it could theoretically be used around your allies as long as they're generally off the ground or whatever, or at least not within range of the stakes, which don't have the same range as Hapafusgari would have, or say uh, Katengyatsu's Shigaratsu, not Shigaratsu, Kanamatsu Shinju. It's still something that your allies would need to avoid, and it's really only at its most powerful when you're facing down a horde of enemies. If you're only going one-on-one, yeah, you could use this Bankai, but even if you did manage to hit your opponent any significant way, it really wouldn't do anything that much. Like, you wouldn't get enough blood to make it worth releasing the Bankai, because every Bankai release is taxing on the user. So it is a situational Bankai, definitely, which would be its biggest weakness. But it's still a Bankai. And when I say stakes, I mean these would probably be like metal stakes, not like wooden stakes. So yeah, it's definitely a situational sword, but a unique sword to say the least. Even though we already did a blood-based Zanpakuto with Alucard a while back. Anyway, though, that's my thoughts on the Zanpakuto. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you folks next time. Later.